Good morning, everybody. How do you feel today? Say it loud so you can hear how you feel. Thank you for saying how you feel.
Yeah, I'm going home.
You're going home?
Yes.
Is that how you feel?
Yes.
Thank you for saying how you feel. Pardon me for just a moment. I'm going to adjust my angle. I think someone might have bumped this camera while I was getting set up. My name is Mr. Channing. Would you like to read a story with me today? I have a book I'd like to read with you. Today I have a story for you about potatoes. Because we're reading stories about food all week. Where do potatoes come from? Do you know? Now, some people say that potatoes come from the store. That's not wrong. Potatoes do come from the store. But before they come to the store, how do they get to the store? Are potatoes a plant? Do potatoes grow in the ground? Mm-hmm. You want to see what a potato looks like when it's getting ready to go into the ground and grow a whole new potato plant with some new potatoes? I'll show you. Excuse me, Mouse. May I see these potatoes? Thank you. See these? These are 2 old potatoes. And they've been sitting in a bag full of onions, which means... Can you see that, or is it getting out of focus? They have lots of little eyes on them. Potato eyes are not like your eyes and my eyes. They don't see anything. That's just the word we use to describe them. What they really are is a new plant trying to grow out of this potato, trying to make a new potato plant. These potatoes don't know that they've just been under my shelf for a while. They think they could go into the ground at any moment. In fact, they've been next to some onions, and putting potatoes next to your onions makes those potatoes sprout extra fast. 2 old potatoes. In fact, the book we're going to read today is called... Here you go, Mouse. Ba-dum! 2 Old Potatoes and Me by John Coy. Pictures by Carolyn Fisher. Would you like to read this book with me? I'd like to read this book with you. Let's get started. Oh, and who published this book? Published by Alfred A. Knopf, read under fair use. 2 Old Potatoes and Me. Ahem. All right. Can you all see me okay? All right. Last spring at my dad's house, I found 2 old potatoes in the back of the cupboard. Ugh! These potatoes look much older than the potatoes that I had in the back of my shelf. They are sprouting. They were so old, sprouts were growing from their eyes. Now, you remember a moment ago we talked about what the eye of a potato is? The eyes cannot see. That's just the word that we use when we say that's where the sprout is coming out on the potato. That's where the new plant is trying to grow.
No, I want to read it. I want to talk.
Gross! I tossed them in the trash. Here's Dad. Wait, Dad said. I think we can grow new potatoes with those. I'll call your grandpa. That's Dad. He'll know. What do you think? You think this kid should throw these potatoes out, or do you think that they can make some new potato plants with them?
I want to adopt it.
Oh, I hear what you're saying. I'd like to finish reading this book, but if you want to go do something else, that's fine with me. That's okay. You do what you want to do. After talking with Grandpa, probably on the phone, Dad and I took the potatoes to the sunniest spot in the garden. Oh, they have a garden. Do you think this could be in their backyard? Or do you think it's a garden that they share with some other folks in their neighborhood? Here they are. What is a garden, by the way? Is a garden a whole bunch of dirt in the yard? A bunch of soil? And people dig and plant and pick and grow flowers and food and all sorts of other things in there? Mm-hmm. Working in a garden can be a lot of fun. It can be a lot of hard work, too. We dug. We picked out rocks. Here they are with shovels. Here they are pulling all those little rocks out of the ground, putting them away, because plants don't like to grow around rocks. Plants like to grow in nice, smooth dirt. We raked the soil smooth. That's a lot of hard work. That sounds like a lot of hard work. You know what I mean? Dad carefully cut the potatoes into 9 pieces with his jackknife. Dad has a knife that he carries around, just in case. I made sure each piece had at least one yellow sprout. Now, the book says the sprouts are yellow. In the pictures, the sprouts are kind of pink. I think either way, as long as it's got a sprout, it's probably going to turn into something. Dad dug 9 small holes. Oh, they took 2 potatoes. Now they got 9 pieces that they can plant. I put a piece of potato with the eye facing up in each hole, so that sprout can go straight up, 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 up. Then I cover them with dirt to make little hills. I covered them all. The sprout is sticking out, but the rest of the potato is underground. And Dad got the hose, and I watered gently. You know, the other day, me and my kid we were in the backyard, and we used the hose too. Do you like to use the hose? Sometimes people use it when they're gardening. Sometimes people just spray the hose on days when it's hot. You know what I mean? In May. Oh, so some time has passed now. And what month is this right now that we're reading this book? Is it May? It is May. We're right on schedule. In May, green plants poked up like caterpillars unfolding. We got down on our knees and picked weeds. What is a weed? When you're gardening, a weed is a plant that you are not trying to grow. There's no food growing on it. There's no flowers that you like growing on it. So you pick it, you take it out of there. Don't have to worry about being nice to weeds, because the whole thing about weeds is that they will grow back lots and lots and lots of times. We shoveled compost onto each hill. What is compost? You know what that is? Compost is old, rotting food scraps that nobody wanted. Does that sound gross? It can be gross. It can be gross. But compost is something that plants just love. So if you are gardening, you might have a place to put all that old food and food scraps and bread crusts and orange peels and eggshells. You know what I mean? You could give those to a plant and help that plant grow. So they shoveled all that compost onto the hills. And I said, won't that smother the plants? Won't it squash them down too much? Dad said, no, they will grow through it. Are we really going to get new potatoes from old potatoes? I think so, said Dad. Now see, in this book, this is the first time that Dad has tried to grow potatoes too. Dad is a grown-up, but he's still going to learn something new and try something new. It's pretty interesting. You know what? The more I read this book, the more I kind of want to try gardening myself. I've tried growing plants before, it didn't go well, but sometimes you got to keep trying. You know what I mean? In June, June is coming right up, the plants grew bigger. The violet flowers blossomed, and we added more compost. And when we watered, I accidentally sprayed my dad with the hose. Oh no! Oh no! What's Dad gonna do? Is he gonna get mad? No. He knew it was an accident. He laughed and sprayed me back. Did they both get all wet from the hose? Did they? Yeah, they did. They did. But in June, it's hot. So there might be times when you like getting wet when you're outside. Cool off. You know what I mean? This looks like a lot of fun. Gardening is a lot of hard work, but it looks like it's fun too. In July, when the plants were as tall as my waist. Where is your waist? Your waist is at the very top of your legs. How tall is that? Are those plants getting pretty tall? Especially considering they came from just those tiny little chunks of old potato. When the plants were as tall as my waist, we picked potato beetles off the leaves. I dropped them in a pail of soapy water. Gross! Is there some gross stuff that comes with gardening? There definitely is. What are those potato beetles trying to do? Well, Dad says we have to do this, Dad said. Otherwise, the bugs will eat the leaves and the potatoes won't grow. Plants, they like being in the soil. They like getting those vitamins that are in compost, but their real favorite food is sunshine. That's right, the light from the sun. And the way they get that light and they turn it into sun is that they have leaves, big green leaves, just like every plant has. And the light hits those leaves and the plant says, delicious. Those leaves are kind of like your mouth, and the food is sunlight. Now, that doesn't mean that leaves bite. It just means that they like to drink up that sunlight when they can get it. And if the bugs come and eat all their leaves, they won't be able to drink up any sunlight, so they won't grow up big. So, you gotta pick off those bugs. The bugs are not this big in real life. The bugs are this big in real life. You gotta pick them and plunk them into the soapy water. The soapy water means that they will not be bothering your plants anymore, but you gotta keep doing it because more bugs will come back. Everybody wants to eat those delicious potato plants. In August, some of the plants turned brown and withered. Ooh, look at these beautiful green plants and now they're turning all brown. Are they dead? No, said Dad. The potatoes are growing underground. Are you sure? I hope so. That's what your grandpa said. Do you think that Grandpa, that this Dad's dad, knows a lot about farming? Knows a lot about growing a garden? It sounds like he does. So maybe what's happening is that the leaves are turning brown because all that energy is going into making those potatoes big and plump and juicy and delicious. That plant decides we don't have a lot of energy to spend on our green leaves right now. We have more important things to do, like grow potatoes. We weeded. We pulled out all those weeds so that they wouldn't suck up all the good vitamins in the soil when our potatoes need them especially. We watered. We made sure all of those plants got enough water because sometimes it rains and sometimes it doesn't. We waited. Oh, that sounds like the hardest part. Just to sit and wait and wait. Here they are waiting, looking. Can they see the potatoes? No. Why not? Because the potatoes are growing under the ground. The plants are there, catching that sunlight and bringing it down to the potatoes, but the potatoes are all someplace where you can't see them. I hope they're getting big, but maybe they're not. Who knows? Now, on a cool September day, Dad and I sit on the bench in front of the garden. Dad says, "How is your bedroom at your mom's house coming?" "Good. Mom and I painted it Periwinkle." Have you heard of a color called Periwinkle before? Have you heard of a color called Periwinkle? You want to see the color Periwinkle? Color Periwinkle is right here and here. It's blue and a little bit purple and a little bit light colored, a little bit pastel. What a pretty color. Periwinkle, said Dad. I like that color. I bet it looks good. You can see it on Friday when you pick me up. Okay, Dad says. It will be Periwinkle Friday. So Dad and the kid are talking about how the kid lives at Mom's place sometimes and lives at Dad's place sometimes. A lot of kids grow up like that. Their parents live in two different places. That was true for me when I was a kid. My mom and my dad lived very far apart, and I spent some time at my dad's house and sometimes at my mom's house. And they both loved me very much. Do you know what I mean?
No, I was on the couch.
Oh, I see.
Sitting down on Mom's lap.
I see you. We get up and walk to the garden. What's your favorite way to eat potatoes? Dad asks. What's your favorite way to eat potatoes? You like French fries? Do you like them chopped in half and roasted? Do you like them hash browns? Do you like them as a smoothie? Not many people like a potato smoothie, but it could be good. Who knows? I've never tried it. This kid says, mashed. Mashed potatoes with lots of butter and a sprinkle of nutmeg for good luck. Nutmeg is a kind of seasoning. Have you smelled nutmeg before? I like nutmeg myself. Just a little bit in mashed potatoes? That sounds like a very good idea. That's my favorite too. Let's see what's under those hills. Do you think it's time? Is it time to dig up those potatoes? They planted these back in what? April? So April, May, June, July, August, September. That's 6 months of waiting. You want to see what they got? Let's find out. I have not read ahead, so I don't know if they're going to dig up the potatoes for real on the next page. We're going to be surprised together. Dad gets the garden fork from the shed. That's not like a fork that you eat with. It's very big. Use it to dig up stuff in the garden. I carry the big bucket. Dad digs at the first hill. Nothing but dirt. He digs again. More dirt. You know what that means? It means that plant grew, but there weren't any potatoes that grew under it. 6 months of work and waiting. How disappointing. Is that how you would feel? I'd feel disappointed. You think they're going to give up? Let's find out. After all that work, I say. Dad hands me the fork. You try. All right, this kid is going to dig in there. Let's find out how it goes. I dig deep. I lift the fork and see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 golden shapes. Potatoes! I shout. Look at all those spuds, Dad says. Spud is another word for potato. I have no idea why some people say spud and some people say potato, but I do know that it's very fun to say spud, and it's very fun to say potato too. I bend down, pick up a potato, rub the dirt off its skin, and set it in the bucket. They grew potatoes from old potatoes. Now, that's just one hill. How many hills did they have? Do you remember? They had 2 potatoes, and they cut them up into 9 pieces. Of those 9, one was just dirt. Another was just dirt. One of them had potatoes in it. They have 6 more little dirt hills to dig into. Let's find out. Wow. You want to see it? You want to see all these potatoes? Let's take a look. Wow! 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4, 5 potato, 6 potato, 7 potato, more! Each hill has lots of potatoes. Some are small. Some are big. Boom, boom, boom. Some have funny faces. Oh, there's still more potatoes. 51 potato, 52 potato, 53 potato, 54, 55 potato, 56 potato, 57 potato, more. I count 67. And our bucket is boom, 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 overflowing. Can you believe how many potatoes they got? Can you believe it? From 2 old potatoes, 9 hills, 67 potatoes. And a lot of work and a lot of waiting. Let's not forget about that. All this from 2 old potatoes. Yes, Dad rubs my head. Ready to dig into the potatoes you grew? Yeah, I'm hungry. What did they make? Does that look like mashed potatoes? Take some potatoes, you mash them up with some butter and some milk, a little bit of nutmeg for good luck. You know what? I have a recipe right here. You want to hear this recipe? Do you know somebody who likes to hear a recipe?
Me.
Is it you? I'll read you this recipe right now. Mashed potatoes. 2 pounds of potatoes. Yukon Golds are a favorite. That's a kind of potato. Half teaspoon of salt, half stick of butter, half a cup of milk warmed up, a sprinkle of nutmeg. That's new to this recipe, so I'm going to have to try it. Peel the potatoes, cut them into equal-sized cubes that are all the same size as each other. Put the potatoes in a pan, cover with cold water, and add the salt. Bring the water to a boil. You need a grown-up to help you with this recipe because you have to use a hot oven, a hot stove to do this. Bring it to a boil, reduce the heat, and simmer it until the potatoes are tender. So get it real hot and then bring it down until it's just bubbling. Drain the potatoes in a colander. Do you know what a colander is? You might have seen it in the kitchen. It's a big bowl with lots of holes in it. And the holes are so small that when you put a big bucket of potatoes and water into it, the water falls out through the holes, but the potatoes stay in. Return the potatoes to the pan and heat for 1 more minute to dry them off. Turn off the heat and stir the potatoes with a wooden spoon. Some people use wooden spoons because they think a metal spoon is going to change the temperature of the potatoes. I don't know if it's true. I know I accidentally broke my wooden spoon the other day. It's a very old wooden spoon. I haven't talked to anybody in my family about this, so this is the first time they're hearing about it. I have to get a new wooden spoon now. Can you believe it?
You did.
I did. I accidentally broke it. I'm very strong. Mash with a masher. Do you have a masher at home? A masher is a big thing with a bunch of little shapes on the bottom, little tusks. And you take it, you mash it into the potatoes and smash them all up. You add the butter, you mash some more. You add the hot milk, you stir until it's smooth with a wooden spoon, and add a sprinkle of nutmeg for good luck. Enjoy. The end.
Here's one more page.
Is there one more page?
Yes.
Oh. Do you remember what this color is called? Is it called... It's the same color that her room is painted at her mom's house. We saw her thinking about it. This color is called Periwinkle. Can you say that with me? Periwinkle.
No.
If you don't want to say it, that's okay too. But you heard me say it. The end. Thank you so much for reading this book with me. Give yourself a round of applause. After reading this book, do you want to try growing some vegetables yourself? I kind of do. Sounds like a lot of work, and I think if you're going to do it, you better get started right now, because it is almost June. Do you know somebody who knows about growing vegetables? Maybe somebody in your family? A grandpa, grandma, aunt or an uncle, or a mom or a dad or a stepdad, or a cousin, or a neighbor? Growing plants and running a garden is a great way to meet people, because people who grow a garden, they want you to have a good garden too. They want to share what they know, and they might want to share their vegetables with you too. Man, I want some mashed potatoes now. I think I have to end this video so I can go eat some food. Thank you so much for reading this book with me. Should we sing a hand-washing song real quick before we say goodbye? Let's see if I can remember it. It's been a while since I've sung it. All right, got your hands ready? You want to do I'm Black Panther? All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm Black Panther. Wakanda forever. I'm really strong. And I'm really clever. If you're let me try that again. If you didn't wash your hands, you better watch out.
Yeah.
When I have my suit on, check me out. Wave goodbye, Black Panthers.